Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another great Money Talk, guys. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I want to tell you guys happy Thursday, right? Today's Thursday. Wow. Happy Thursday, guys. I guess today's Throwback Thursday. All right, what kind of throwback can we talk about? Well, I was actually looking back of Money Talk where we started, and I was realizing that Money Talk was around even last year, October, right? We were looking at some old videos. And I remember in that video, man, there's a few people, right? Teaching and educating, and to see where Money Talk is growing into today, it's really remarkable to say that, man, we have come a long way, right? We have some throwbacks, right? I guess we could say that we have some throwback um, attendees on this Money Talk, right? We have folks like Miss Victoria Gordon, throwback, right? We also have people like Swan, right? Big time throwback. Let me tell you guys, Swan is such an amazing, loyal, um, you know, Money Talk attendee. She invited a lot of people, if it wasn't, I know a lot of you guys do it the same thing too as well. But I'm talking about from the throwback, right? I mean, if it wasn't for, Miss Swan Fleming, that, we wouldn't have the Sheila Forbes and the Tyrones and a lot of people, a lot of people I like to say from the South, right? All the folks from the southeast and down south would have not gotten access to this if it wasn't for her. So big shout out to Miss Swan. Definitely big throwback. We definitely even have people like Tamika Gordon, big throwback, um, participant inside of Money Talk as well. Because if it wasn't for her, today we wouldn't have the Tiffany Hairwoods and the Victoria Gordons, the Beverly Williams. Even now, look how a Tamika Gordon throwback, right? Inviting people have come down this way. So big shout out to you guys, and great campaigning and great opportunity givers. And then like I said, the tree have branched off into many, many branches now, and the power of giving, right? Just the power of giving, and the fact that people make decisions for themselves to want to learn, right? You can only get, like we always have this saying, right? We can only lead the horse to the water. You can't force it to drink. And many of you were led to this Money Talk. You weren't forced to drink. You were just invited, and you decided to join, and now you're coming and you're learning. You get to understand more. So more power to you guys, man. And you know this information is valuable. And I know sometimes you guys probably get mad with your guests if they don't show up, and you're like, why don't they see the value, right? Why they don't see the value? Guys, hey, if they don't see the value yet, send them a link. Send them the link to the already pre-recorded Money Talk calls, right? As far as the ones that we go over, right? And let them listen. And they will see the value, and then they will show up, right? Or at least worst case scenario, they'll keep listening to the link when we update the episodes, right? So I think we're up to episode 18. Yeah, we're up to episode 18, guys. So I don't know. It's been a lot more episodes than that, if that's the situation. But when we started recording them and putting them out for people to listen, we're now up to episode 18. So give yourself a big round of applause. Now we're at episode 18. Almost 20 episodes of Money Talk is now recorded and documented for you to listen to, and always could go back to and get some good information. So if you're wondering where that is located, I would tell you right now, that link is located on YouTube. You can literally type in Money Talk with Mr. Finance on YouTube, and you'll be able to see all of the pre-recorded. And if you want to have the playlist, you can go to the B. Shana's Legacy, right? B. Shana's Legacy TV on YouTube, and you'll be able to go to the playlist section, and you can see all of the Money Talks, all the episodes already. So yeah, guys, big shout out to you guys, man. You guys made Money Talk to where it is today, and we're going to continue to learn. So now you have the document. You can always have your kids listen now. You can say, hey, I was on this call. Hey, if your husband or your spouse or your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, you could now go back and say, hey, check out this one. This is the one that I was on. I was on episode 18, or I was on episode 9, right? Or so on. So good job to you guys. All right. And major love. So today, what is that we're going to talk about today? We have a lot. We have a lot to talk about today. But today, I have the pleasure of teaching you guys about the 10-20 formula. Yeah, we're going to talk about this formula today. We're also going to talk about the 50-20-30 formula, which is for budgeting. And I always ask folks, how many of us want to master our budget? So if you like to become a master budgeter, right? That's the word today. If you would like to become a master budgeter, I want you to hit that green button. Hit that green button if you'd like to become a master budgeter. If you want to be a big time budgeter, you want to be the queens and the kings of budgeting. And you know what, guys? We're going to actually have some live testimonies, right? So for all the folks that been using the formula, I would love for you guys to share afterwards how this budgeting formula have helped you, right? So I see Miss Victoria Gordon want to be a master budgeter. Chantal, oh yeah, of course she's going to be a master budgeter. Swan want to be a master budgeter. Miss Beverly Williams want to be a master budgeter. We have Tiffany Harewood want to be a master budgeter. Tyrone want to be a master budgeter. I know Motiqua is even becoming a master budgeter, right? So, man, let me tell you, man, guys, you want to budget like a king and a queen? I'm going to give you that today as well, all right? So let's get into the first part of this. All right, so the first part we're going to talk about is the 10-20 formula. What is the 10-20 formula? Now, the reason for the 10-20 formula, guys, it helps people to know what they need, right? It helps people to know what they need, not just for when they die, but also for when they want to retire. See, the problem is that many people today did not understand about retirement, and they don't understand about owning life insurance. So if you never learned what is known as your FIN number, right? If you never learn your FIN number is your final income number, which means that you never learned how to, how much should you save towards retirement and how much you need in the time of retirement. If you never learn how to figure out that number, then this 10-20 formula will help you. Also, another thing, if you never learn the dime method, if you never understand the dime method of why you need to have DIME, the dime method, if you never understand it, when it comes to putting together your own in life insurance, then you need to know this 10-20 formula. So the 10-20 formula is a quick way to give you a goal, right? It's a quick way to give you a goal because most of us don't have a goal. We understand how, but we don't know the why, right? So when you know the why, the how will come. Remember that. So remember right now, say, I am enough, right? Say it with me. I am enough, right? Say it with me because I want you guys to know this. Hey, I want you to say it with me too. I am smart, right? I want you to say it with me. I am smart. All right. I want you to say this one with me. This is a big one now. I want you to remember this one. This is a big one. I want you to say, my setbacks will set me up for a greater comeback. Because sometimes you may feel like, man, I wish I knew this earlier. Sometimes you're going to say, man, I wish I understood these things earlier. Why didn't Keyon come around 20 years ago? No. I want you to remember this. Your setbacks will set you up for a greater comeback. Say it with me. Ready? Say this. My setbacks will set me up for a greater comeback, right? My setbacks will set me up for a greater comeback. So sometimes if you feel like you're going through some setbacks in your life, if you feel like you're going through some struggles in your life, just know that it's here to set you up for a better life. Do you understand what I'm saying to you today? If you feel like you're going through some struggles, going through some obstacles, going through some dark days in your life, man, let me tell you, it is setting you up for a greater comeback. Sometimes your roads got to be dark, so that way you can only look up and see the light. So you got to realize, I love what Les Brown said. He said, when you fall down, just make sure that when you fall on your back. So that way you can see how to go all the way back up. So your setbacks, it will only set you up for a greater comeback. So if you never learned these formulas, if you never understood some of the simplicity of these vehicles, then don't be mad at yourself. Just know that moving forward, you're going to do better for yourself, right? That's what it's all about. So I don't want you to beat yourself up and say, man, I wish I knew this, right? Now you know, right? Now you know. And now you know, now you take action, okay? So let's talk about the 10-20 What is the 20 for? Let's start with the 20. The 20 represent the amount of money you would need in order to retire comfortably, right? So give you an example. And the reason why they came up with this 20 this way is based on the fact that if you retire at the age of 65, which is the average retirement age for one person today. So the average person retire at age 65. The average life expectancy for someone is around 85 years old. So from 65 to 85, that is 20 years the average person may be needing money during retirement, right? Average. I didn't say that you will live to see 85, and I didn't say that you cannot live past 85. We're saying that the average person live up until age 85. I was listening to a Gary V video the other day, and someone say, give me 3 words of motivation, right? Give me 3 words of motivation. And Gary V said, you will die. I was like, OMG. I was like, if you will die, don't motivate you. Then what else could he say to motivate you, right? How many of you agree with that, right? I think death should be your biggest motivator. Because the fact that you don't know when it will happen, that should motivate you every day to want to go as hard as you can. You got to go as hard as you can every day, right? So now, when you think about the 10, the 20 in the formula, it comes back to that. If you know that retirement is at average age at 65 years old, and they tell you that you're going to need at least 20 times your income in place, well, let's figure out a way to make sure that you have 20 times your income saved up. If you want 50,000, or better yet, if you want $5,000 a month coming into you at the age of 65, that means you want $60,000 coming in a year. That means you need to start saving up and have at least $1.2 million put to the side. Yeah, put to the side by time you were 65. So don't just say, I'm saving in my 401k. Don't just say, I'm putting money in my deferred plans and my pension plan and whatever. You better know your number. If you never know your FIN number, at least know that you need a minimum of 20 times your income saved up in order to retire comfortably. How about the 10? What if you never know your dime method? When it comes to owning life insurance, they say that the average person need at least 10 times their income, minimum, at least 10 times their income and insurance protection, right? And like I talked about, remember I talked about this yesterday. Don't become a memory, become a legacy, right? Don't just be a memory, but be a legacy, right? So if you leave back at least 10 times your income for your family or your spouse or your kids, your grandkids, your mom, your brother, your sister, your uncle, your auntie, whoever, as long as you leave back a legacy, then you won't just become a memory, all right? And it's important that we learn to leave back legacies and not just memories. And that's why we really need to change our lives a little bit. So that's why the 10-20 formula plays such an important role in knowing how much you need in for retirement, and also how much you would need inside of your owning life insurance. So now let's get into the budgeting formula. Man, this is one of my favorite. The budgeting formula is one of my favorite. Hey, let me tell you something, guys. This 50-20-30 formula is one of my favorite, most favorite budgeting formula in the world. You understand? And the reason why is because of this, I was able to get rid of all my spreadsheet. Now, I just on a rule of thumb, I just love some of you guys to just run back to the participant section real quick. And I just want to let me know, how many of you guys used to use a spreadsheet to budget, right? How many of you guys used to use spreadsheet to budget? Or how many of you are still using spreadsheet to budget, right? We see Miss Sheila Forbes used to, right? Or still, or no, I know she doesn't, but she used to. We had Swan that used to use a spreadsheet, right? My Chantal used to use spreadsheet. She's a big spread. Let me tell you something, guys. You want to know about spreadsheet? Talk to Chantal. She's a spreadsheet guru, right? So, many of us were taught this whole spreadsheet concept. Now, here's another question. How many of us gave up sometime on a monthly basis on that spreadsheet when you missed something, right? And you said next month, right? Next month. Anybody else? Come on, don't let me feel like I'm the only one that had these issues when I used to use spreadsheet. How many of you guys used to just say to hell with the spreadsheet, right? Miss Sheila Forbes say yes, me too, right? Yeah, I used to be one of those people too, man. I used to be like, man, this spreadsheet, I messed up 1 month. I forgot the entry or one thing, and then I'm like, next month. And then next month come, you do it again, next month. And then eventually you're just like, I'm over it all, right? So I know a lot of you guys are traditional, and I like to say it's very corporate, right? But you know me, I'm a rebel. I am a rebel with a cause. If you know me so far, you know I'm a rebel with a cause. And I like to always say, hey, let's upgrade things. Let's change things a little bit. Let's make things easy. So what if I tell you that budgeting, when you're doing your budgeting, right? When the way that you do budgeting with your spreadsheet is not budgeting. All right? I'm telling you this right now. Listen to me. The way that you do your budgeting right now is not budgeting. That is called spending tracking. All you're doing is tracking your spending. You're not budgeting. You're tracking what you spend. How do you know how much you could spend for the month? You're not really knowing your number, right? So the thing about it is that's why a lot of people's budget get thrown out of whack, because why? They don't understand how to budget. And budgeting requires you to do what? Not track how much you spend, but you should know how much you should spend. You must know how much you can spend and not spend it. And when should you know this? You should know this before the month begins. You must know this before the month begins, so that way you could be on track and be on a budget. You must know what's your budget. Right now I have a budget. And I'm telling you, I am so disciplined with my budgeting that I don't go over my monthly budget. I'm very, very disciplined. I have a spending budget, and that's it. Right? And I have one for my business, and I have one for my personal life. And both of those budgets, I don't go over. If I go over my budget in my business, it has to be for a good reason. A matter of fact, it has to bring me back what I'm going to spend times two. Right? If it's not a good investment to go over my budget, I'm not doing it. Right? It doesn't make sense. So here's the thing. The thing that I look at is say, well, how do we master our budgeting? How do we master budgeting? Let me show you how easy it is. Two things you must know, all right? You must know what is your net pay. That's the pay that you take home after taxes. And you must know what is your monthly bill amount, right? You need to know what's your monthly bill amount. So the first thing we're going to look at. Well, when you draw your budget, right, I'm going to show you what it should look like. I want you guys to get a piece of paper right now. Get a piece of paper. I want you to draw 4 boxes just like what's on the screen like this, right? 4 boxes. You're going to write 4 boxes. All right, so let me take it back now. 4 boxes you're gonna draw. You're gonna draw a big 4 boxes, right? Big 4 boxes, right? And then on top of the 4 boxes, you're gonna write your net pay amount, right? How much you take home after taxes. And then I want you to put also what is your total monthly bills, right? What is your total monthly bills amount, right? Now you got those 2 numbers there. Cool. Now, the first box on the top left is called your rules box, all right? You must know the rules to the budgeting formula. The rule says 50% of your income should go towards the bills. 20% of your income should go towards savings. 30% of your income should go towards spending, right? Those are the rules. Now, before you look at me cross-eyed and say, well, Keyon, 50% of my income doesn't take care of all of my bills, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. 95% of Americans cannot pay their bills with 50% of their income. 95. Can you believe that? Isn't that crazy to think? 95% of Americans cannot pay their bills with 50% of their income, right? But you know what though? We know that also those same 95% of people is probably spending more than 30% of their income on a monthly basis, right? This is why we notice that people spending more and they're saving less. And we're encouraging you, World System Builders, WSB, we encourage families to save more, spend less, right? Save more, spend less. Why do we do this? It's so that we can continue to empower families to understand that, yes, don't be the person that spends more than 30% of their income, all right? But here's the formula. I'm going to give you guys the formula now. The formula that you use for the rules, right? Use the formula where it says you're going to take your net pay for every box moving forward. You're going to take your net pay, times it by a percentage that equals money for each event. So the first one we're going to look at is the bills box. In order for you to know how much of your net pay should go towards your bills, all you got to do is take your net pay, times it by 0.50, and that equals the bills money. All right? That's how you figure out the bills money. Now, on the bottom left section, right, because that was on the top right, now on the bottom left box, right, this is your third box now, you're going to have the savings box. And what you're going to do is you're going to take net pay times it by 0.20 equals savings money. So remember, 20% of your income go towards savings, 50% of your income go towards bills. So you take 0.5 to find the bills, 0.20 to find for the savings. Now, the fourth box on the bottom right, section is the spending box. This is where you're going to take the net pay times it by 0.30, that equals spending money, right? You're going to take your net pay times it by 0.30 equals your spending money, right? So how many of you guys already think that this is such a simple way to budget already, right? Because I'm going to break it down with numbers for you guys. How many of you guys feel like, man, Keyon, you just saved me hours of budgeting with my whole life right now? How many of you guys feel like this is so much easier for your budget, right? I see, oh, welcome on, G. I see you on, welcome. Right? Does this look much easier? You can go into your participants section and just hit yes if you think this is easier, right? Click the participants section on your Zoom, and then you'll be able to hit yes if you think this is easier, right? All right, look at that. You guys think this is way easier. Exactly. Because it saves you so much time, right? And we all know the importance of time. All right. So let's put some money to this now, right? Let's say that let's put money to it now. Because if you guys draw this out, then you'd have, put some money to it. And I'm gonna ask you some questions, and then we're gonna open up the call for feedbacks, comments, and questions, right? So here we go. Let's look at the first thing. The first thing we're going to look at is the bills box, right? Let's say that the bills in this example amount was $2,400, right? You had a bills of $2,400. And let's say that your net pay is $3,000 you make a month, right? You make $3,000 a month net pay, and then you have a total bills amount of $2,400, right? So the thing that we got to look at is say, okay, how does this work out? So remember, you're going to take the net pay and fill it in each bracket, right? Where you see net pay in each box. You're going to put $3,000 in the bills box, $3,000 in the savings box, $3,000 in the spending box, and then times it by their percentage, right? Either 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, right? So in the bills section, if you take your $3,000 net pay times it by 0.50, that gives you $1,500. So that $1,500 in the bills box lets you know that you don't have enough to pay that $2,400, which is your monthly bills. But now you come down to your savings box. You're going to take that same $3,000 net pay, times it by 0.20, and that now gives you $600. That's how much you could save. Then you look in your spending box. You're going to take your $3,000 net pay, times it by 0.30, that gives you $900. So my question to you is, now you have all the money on the table. Now you have all the money visible. The question to you is, where do you take the money from when it's pertaining towards paying the bills? Would you take the rest of the money from your savings box, or should you take the money from the spending box in order to add it towards the bills money? So my question is, if you think you should take the money from your savings box, the 600, I want you to hit no. And if you think you should take it from the spending box, which is the 900, and add it to the 1,500, I want you to hit yes. Where do you guys think you should take the money from when it comes down to this example? Do you think you should take it from your savings box where you hit no? And then do you take it from your spending box where you hit yes, right? Let me see how many people say yes. Okay. Let's see how many people say no. Okay. All right. So we have a lot more yes. We've had people like G said yes. Exactly. Exactly. Miss Sheila Forbes, yes. Tyrone, yes. Miss Victoria Gordon, absolutely. Yes. So now when you take that 900 and you apply it to the $1,500, guess what? You now able to pay the bills, because 900 plus 1,500, when you take away the spending, you add that 900 to the bills, you now have $2,400. Bills is paid, right? Bills is paid. But at the same time, you still have a savings box. Now, I don't want you guys to eat bread and butter. That's not what I'm saying. But now you have $600. So now if you split that 20%, if you split that 20% into two and have 10%, 10%, that means 10%, 10% represent 300, 300, because that equals the total of 600 that you could have saved from your $3,000 net pay, right? So now you have $300 that's going towards your retirement plan. And then you split that 10% again, that 300 into half again, 5%, 5%. 5% represent 150, 5% represent 150. Now you put away another 150 towards your emergency fund. You start saving up for that as well. And guess what? Now you could live on a 150 a month budget. Your budget is 150 now, right? That's your budget. So that's how simple it is, guys, to really, truly understand how to stay and live on a budget. So now this person that has this $3,000 income and a $2,400 monthly bills, their budget for the month is only that they could spend and enjoy $150 if they're saving 5% towards their emergency fund, 10% towards their retirement, and they still want to enjoy 5%. They can only afford to live off 5% of their income and have fun with $150 a month. That's why you got to live on a budget, right, guys? So I hope that helped you guys to understand a little bit more. And at this moment, what I love to do is open up the call for any questions, any comments. So if you'd like to ask a question, if you'd like to share some feedback on what you learned today, if you'd like to, give us anything you want to share, even your testimony of how this has helped, please hit the yes button. Right, hit that yes button and I will call on you so that way you can share. So first person up so far. So while Miss Swan is sharing, you guys can keep hitting the yes button if you like to share, ask a question or make a comment. You could do so, and I would gladly call on you next afterwards. Okay. So good morning, Miss Swan. How you doing? Good morning. You're live.
John and everyone, thank you so much for the shout out this morning. I appreciate that. I tell you, these money calls are just so powerful. I don't know why we don't have 100 people on this call every morning, but one day we'll get there. We just keep inviting and sharing. But my question was, with the budget formula, like I have another business, a candle business direct sales, and how can I apply this budget? Because there's someone who asked about it, and I was thinking we could do the 50, 30, 20, but I'm trying to figure out, I guess, the columns, like, it's spending, because we do have like product that we have, and we want to invest in product to be able to have it for the customers to buy. So what other how can I split that up? We still do it the same, like, so where the spending would be our pay, and then the 50% would be the reinvestment into the business, and then maybe the 20% savings. That would be good, you think?
And this is such a good question, Ms. Swan, because I know a lot of business owners always ask me that as well. How can they apply this budgeting formula to their business? Because it's almost like the same thing. So what you gotta do is, I'll tell you guys this: never mix your personal income with your business income. Never ever. Like, I always would keep it so separate. Like, literally, your business is your business, your personal is your personal. You gotta keep them separate. So with your business now, you gotta look and see, well, how much is my monthly expenses for my business? Right? To restock, to do all of these things. If you have an office space, if you're, whatever it costs, you got to know what is your monthly expenses for business. That's it. Right? And then you got to look at, well, how much am I saving from the profit that I make? You got to know what is your net pay. So now your net pay may vary, right? Your net pay may vary throughout the month. So this is where you got to also make sure that every income that comes in, before you touch anything with your business, you got to make sure that every income that comes in, you use the 50, 20, 30 formula to them. And you just put the money in the boxes, in the columns, right? And just know that this is what they are. Because the thing about it is that until you have a steady kind of income where, like every month, I'm going to make an average of around 3,000. If you know your business at a $3,000 income on an average, then you can start rounding it to an average of 3,000. Does that make sense? And then it will let you know, well, how much is my spending? Now, the spending from your business, meaning that you could go on, and if you want to expand, or if you want to buy more stuff, right? Or better yet, you don't want to buy anything. You just want to keep those reserved as your emergency fund, right? If you don't want to spend, or if you don't want to take a pay cut, right? Because if your business is spending, right, it could be in the monthly expenses, but spending could be how much more do I have where I could get extra inventory, or maybe I could buy a new appliance or something, right? What is your spending budget, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
if you have a spending budget left over, then you could use the 20% to save. That's your business savings account, right? I don't know. Does that make sense? Is that making sense for you?
Yes, that's great. Yes, definitely. Okay, I appreciate that so much. I'm definitely gonna implement that for myself, as well as share that with my business partners in that business, because that way, because a lot of times we don't know, we just make the money but don't really know where to allocate it. And like you said, we definitely have to separate it. So I will be sharing that with them today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're more than welcome. Yeah, man. And if that business is operating underneath a LLC, I would tell you to also go own a key person insurance underneath your LLC, right? And make sure that your business is paying for it as well, because that will really help you to also have a key person insurance for your business as well.
Awesome. Thank you for that information. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anytime. Anybody else have any questions, any comments, any testimonies from the formula as well? How this formula have helped you guys, and if anybody would like to share. We have Miss Victoria. Yes, yes. So all the testimonies, please. If you'd like to share any testimonies from yourself or you help a client, I would love for you to share for any campaigners or any listeners that's using the formula. We have Miss Victoria Gordon. Good morning, Miss Victoria. You're live.
Good morning, Keyon. Awesome. presentation. My testimony is this formula, and since I started Money Talk back in March during the COVID pandemic, I have been able to use this formula. Uh, Kept me on track. It got my credit scores up almost. I'm at 800. My other testimony is I wind up saving more money, able to knock off some credit card bills, and yeah, my testimony also knowing that I didn't know I wasn't going to get a job to teach, so I'm glad I had some of that money saved up so that I can get through the summer months before school start again. So again, thank you very much. That's my testimony. This formula works so much easier.
Absolutely, guys. I'm telling you, this formula changed my life too. It changed my life so much because I had an issue with budgeting and it was not fun. When I got across this budgeting formula, it changed my life years ago. We also have Miss Beverly Williams. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Keyon. And yes, this is another powerful money talk. These money talks are so worthwhile. And I always say free 99 is free 99. If you're not on here, it's your fault. And we invite, and people come on and they stay on a little bit and they don't stay on. They don't come back. But I'm like Vicky. I came in during the COVID-19 pandemic, and I haven't stopped. So far, I have paid off 2 high-end vehicles, and I researched on how to refinance my house and shave off about $125,000 in interest on my home.
Mm.
The budget formula does work. If you apply it correctly, and you work on yourself and not spend money. And I always love to tell your story, Keyon, about the two shoes that you always say, how many shoes can 2 feet wear? And
Mm-hmm.
I had to look at my shoe closet and say, well, yeah, how many shoes are these? How many of these are the same color? Whatever. But the budgeting formula works. The dime method works. I'm telling you, you guys, just pay attention, do your due diligence, and make it happen. So that's my share for the day.
Well, we thank you for that awesome share, and everybody also that was able to share. Because let me tell you, it's some powerful things that's happening with this money talk, guys, and we're just gonna keep empower, inspire, and give people understanding. I think we have one more. It's Tiffany Harewood. Good morning. You're live.
Hey, good morning, Keyon. Good morning, everybody. Once again, just a powerful money talk. I love the 50-20-30 formula. I personally use it and it saves me a whole lot of time. I used to do spreadsheets. It takes me like an hour to 2 hours. But knowing that I'm now budgeting what I'm earning instead of tracking my spending helps me to curb my spending and make sure that I stay within my budget. Using the formula, just my personal testimony, has allowed my husband and I to save $5,000 toward our emergency fund, pay off a credit card. So again, like everyone else is saying, the formula works. And, I'm sure Motiko wouldn't mind, but Motiko uses the formula, and like in 3 months during COVID, self-employed, not being able to do what she loves to do, she was able to save $10,000 toward her goal just using the budget formula, and I have someone else, same thing. I educated them on it, $5,000 saved. Like, and people can't believe it works, but it works, right? As long as you know what it is and how to use it, it's gonna work. So thank you again for sharing, and thank you for letting me share.
I don't know about you guys, but if you're not fired up to save and live on a budget, After hearing all that, I don't know what else can fire you up, right? Because, guys, the formula makes it easier. That's why I tell you guys, it's not about products. It's all about concepts. Once you understand the concepts, you will know how to start winning the money game. I think we have Miss Victoria Gordon.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing. The money talk and all the concepts, once I started understanding them, just put me on fire. And this is what made me join the campaign to become a certified educator. And it's making me get the message out. I believe that once you become passionate about something, you're on fire, your fire catch somebody else on fire. And this is why this month alone, I'm on fire to share this campaign and get as many people on a session as I can because of the money talk. That's all I wanted to share. Money talk got me talking to other people about money talk, not only money talk, but about the campaign to educate people to know a solid foundation for their finances. So that's what I wanted to share this morning.
Thank you for that incredible share, Ms. Victoria, because like I said, if we're not having money talk, then what we talking about, right? We got to start talking about money, right? That's why we went to school. That's why we got the good grades. That's why we got the good job, right? That's why we became entrepreneurs, is to get the money. So if the money was the goal, and if the money was the purpose, then why are we not talking about money every time? Why is it this big secret? Why is this not so cool thing to talk about? I love talking. I could talk money for days, right? Because I understand that at the end of the day, you need money to survive. I always tell people that money is not the root of evil. Money is not the root of evil. Stop saying that. That's a broke man talk. Money is not the root of evil, but it's the love for money. The love for money is evil. I always say money is a magnifier. Money is a magnifier. You want to know if someone got a good heart? Give them a lot of money. You want to know if someone is an evil person? Give them a lot of money. You will see what they do with the money. Let the money show you who they are and pay attention, right? My mom always tell me that my mom said, money don't love people that chase it. If you chase money, you will never catch it. You will never catch it. It will run away from you. It says money is a magnifier. It will either come to you and it will track you. My mom said, if you have a closed hand where you don't be in a position to give money, then you can't be in a position to receive money. Because if your palms always close because you're holding on your money, you don't want to give it, and you also don't want to take it. Because if your hands, like I'm telling you, put your hands in front of you guys right now. Do this exercise real quick. Close your fists. That's you holding on to your money. You're holding on to that last $1,000. You're holding on to that last $2,000. You're holding on to that last dollar. You're holding on to that last $20. But now, because you're holding on that money so much, it also puts you in a position where you can't receive it either because your hands are closed. See, that's what we always say. A lot of people block their blessings and they become poor. Poor means that they pass over opportunities to learn or earn more. And because of this, it makes them miss the opportunity to receive and they're able to give. Like last night, a gentleman came up to me. He asked me for some money because he showed me his tires and his car was run down. He showed me the pandemic. He's at the gas station. Now, do I know he's a hustle, if it's a fake or not? You know what? Whatever. That's for him and God to take up. I had $20 in my pocket. I could only imagine how that feels to know that, man, he needs some money to raise some money to get a used tire so he could go home. Because he's afraid that if he drives this tire going where he's trying to go, it will pop on him. So I gave him money. I gave him $20. No problem. It ain't hard for me to lose $20. That ain't nothing out of my pocket. But I woke up this morning, checked my WFG, and guess what? It Here comes money. Now, well, I know it was coming, but I'm saying it's nothing to give, man. Give. It will come back to you times two. Like I tell you, don't give with the expectation of man. Give with the expectation of God's blessings. He will always bless you because he see your heart. He see your heart. When everybody else won't see it and appreciate it, he sees your heart. He knows who you are. And once he knows who you are, you'll always be closer to him. All right. So I just want to leave you off with that, guys. Right? Don't be one of those hold tight people. Right? Live life and flow, man. Life is like water. You gotta flow. You know what I'm saying? You gotta flow with life and enjoy the journey. Yes, sometimes it's gonna be bumpy, sometimes it's gonna be smooth, but hey, as long as you got God with you, you will live a good life. All right. So just put him first in everything you do. Right? Give with his intentions, give and love with his intentions. Right? I always say if we're born in the image of him, then hey, we got to be God-like people, right? We can't be God, but we could be God-like, right? And do what something good. I always say, what would God do in this situation? That's one of the things that I started doing in my life. I started saying, what would God do in this situation, right? And in my situation, I gave. So, guys, be in a position where you could give with open hands, so that way when you give it, you can also receive it, okay? And that way we'll go keep winning the money game. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Another epic call. Tomorrow is going to be even more epic because tomorrow I'm going to teach you guys how to put together a financial goal and also how to use a plan to achieve it. And we're going to talk more concepts tomorrow, right, guys? So with that said, on the count of three, let's all wish out, guys. All right. 1, 2, 3. Let's whoosh, guys. Whoosh.
Whoosh.
World
World
team.
team, one team, one dream, one
One
system, one
dream,
cause.
one system, one cause. Woo!
Great day,
Have a
everyone.
great day, everybody.